Okay, so here we are, days 8 to 14, nearly halfway through. For match, I did these 2 beads, and I'm just going to digress for a moment from the drawing to the objects that I actually drew. So these were a pair of beads which I actually made myself. I apologise if you are only interested in sketching. I'm going to digress briefly onto another hobby, but I will come back to the drawing. So these 2 beads hopefully are in frame, hopefully in focus. They kind of look ceramic, but they're actually made out of glass, kind of like small marbles, I suppose. And I just used sort of matching colours, so the same colours on both but opposite. I actually made these a couple of years ago, and the glass comes like this in rods, and then it's melted and made into the beads. I haven't actually made any of these beads for some time, but it's a hobby that I'm hoping to get back to soon, and I think by the end of Inktober I'll be ready to move on to something different and give drawing a rest for a little while, maybe. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to show off those beads because I'm more proud of the beads than I am of the sketch of the beads. Okay, so that was my matching pair. And then for nest, we've got these chicken nesting boxes, which was from one of my own photos that I took at a National Trust property. And you can't see it from this angle, but on this back wall there was a fabulous painting of the blue and white willow pattern on the back wall. I'm sure the hens didn't really appreciate the artwork, but all the visitors did. It was really nicely done. But yeah, so my two hens with their nesting boxes. Crabby, the little hermit crab, and this poor fella, he's got a red plastic bottle cap for his shell. It's quite sad, you know. When I first saw one of these, I thought it was quite funny, and then the more I saw, I realised, you know, how bad the situation is with the plastic in the sea. One of the pictures I saw, instead of a plastic cap, it was actually like the metal screw part off the end of a light bulb. And I was just thinking, you know, this can't be much protection for them. There's not really anything inside for them to hang on to. So I guess the caps would quite easily be knocked off by any predators. But yeah, so maybe he's crabby because he's not got a proper shell. Maybe it's me that's crabby because of the plastic pollution. Either way, he's a little crab. Eagle, straightforward. It's just an eagle kind of swooping in to catch something, whether he was after prey on land or fish. I can't quite remember what the background was on this photo, but yeah, just an eagle swooping in. I decided forget-me-not, and I looked at quite a lot of pictures of forget-me-nots, and a lot of them are just a mass of flowers, but I chose this particular one because I thought it was quite nice with having the buds as well, something a little bit different than just a full page of flowers. This one for kind needs a bit of explanation, I think. This is actually a mule, and I've used kind in the sense of species, a kind of animal, and the mule being a hybrid between a horse and a donkey. But the mules are sterile because they've reached the limit of possible breeding. It's not possible to breed successfully across different species, and the horse and the donkey obviously near enough that they can produce offspring, but the offspring then are sterile. That's the limit of the species or the kind. So for the poor old mule, he's kind of the first and the last of his kind each time. And I did wonder, you know, why would they bother breeding or like having the hybrid of the mule if the mule then can't reproduce? But apparently when I was reading about it, that the mule is longer lived and harder working than a horse, but is less stubborn than a donkey. So I guess from a business kind of perspective, it makes sense that they're harder working and they can work longer. But I still think it's quite sad, really. But I did, while we're on the mule, I wanted to tell a little story, a little donkey story, which is, I don't know if mules would be the same, but a few years ago when I went to Donkey Sanctuary, and they were talking about how the donkeys sort of pair up, that they've got a best friend, not necessarily as a mating pair, but it might be two females, two males, a male and a female, just that they've got their special little friendship between a pair of donkeys. And if one of those two gets sick and has to be taken inside for medical treatment, they actually take both of them in, because although only one of them may be sick, it would actually do them both more harm if they were separated. And I just thought that was really sweet, completely unconnected to my sketch of the mule, but I just wanted to tell that little story. I just thought that was really sweet. Okay, and then the last one for today, the piggy bank. I don't think any explanation needed as to why the piggy bank might be empty. I think we're probably all feeling the pressure financially at the moment. So yeah, that seemed appropriate. So there we go. We're nearly halfway through Inktober, and so far I've managed to do each drawing on its appropriate day, which I'm quite proud of. I was thinking by this point I might be struggling a little bit, but so far it's going okay. So a few more to do, and I'll see you next week.